Jane complains that Jack spends little time with her and doesn't reach out to her as often as she would like. Jane thinks about this situation that the reason Jack doesn't reach out to her often enough is because he probably doesn't love her. Would you feel the same way in Jane's situation? Have you ever been in a similar situation and thought this way about your position? Women are often more inclined to think like Jane. If their partner doesn't contact them enough, they fear that their partner doesn't love them enough. But let's look at the reality of the situation. What's really behind this story? When Jane complains and fears that Jack apparently doesn't love her, she crosses the boundaries between the two of them. What does it mean to cross boundaries? Where are Jane's boundaries? Jane's boundaries reach out as far as her thoughts and actions have to do with her. So everything that originates within her, her thoughts, her feelings, her spoken words, and her actions. These belong to Jane, and she is responsible for them. Jack's boundaries include what originates within him, his thoughts, feelings, spoken words, and actions. So when Jane thinks, if my partner doesn't connect with me often enough, it means I'm not loved, it reveals Jane's fear and her way of thinking. This actually has nothing to do with Jack. It's not about whether Jack loves Jane or not. It's about Jane's fear. Let's examine the situation with their boundaries clearly defined and look at the two individuals separately. Let's analyze Jane's behavior in this process. Jane says, if Jack doesn't connect with me often enough, he doesn't love me. But Jane, you cannot know if Jack loves you. Jack's love originates within him. You cannot know what's in his world because the one and only person who knows how he feels is Jack. What can Jane know? Jane can only know what she herself experiences. Jane, to be precise, you only know that the amount of connection you're receiving from your partner, Jack, is not enough for you. So the connection Jane needs is insufficient for her. It's too little. Jane experiences a lack. Jane is in a state of energy deficiency. She receives too little attention, too little interest, and too little reaction from her partner, while she needs much more attention, more impulses, more connection, and more interaction. Jane interprets this deficiency very poorly. Moreover, Jane's thinking reveals that she confuses connection with feelings. She believes that if Jack doesn't connect enough, he doesn't love her enough. However, connection and emotions are not the same thing. Furthermore, a man's rhythm of connection or the level or frequency of connection he needs in a relationship is usually much less than what a woman needs. A man requires far less connection and interaction than a woman typically does. In addition, our personality and character can also determine how we express our emotions. For example, if Jack is a more reserved, introverted, and shy man, he will connect far less demonstratively than a talkative, outgoing man who loves being the center of attention and playing a central role. Thus, a shy man's pace of connection and a vibrant man's rhythm of connection will be very different. But we cannot be sure that the shy man's emotions are less profound. In fact, I believe his emotions might be much deeper, even if they don't drive him to grand gestures. Perhaps because of his shyness, he doesn't want to come across as too much or too little. So he will produce less visible actions in courting than a narcissistic man. Let's not make the mistake of judging emotions based on actions because, in reality, actions reflect personality and character, rather than emotions. If Jane wants to get a good understanding of what's happening in this situation, she must see the following. First, she needs to observe and understand Jack's personality. She needs to notice how Jack functions and understand what kind of character Jack is, how shy or bold he is, how much energy he requires, and what actions he is capable of. Jane needs to open her mind and become receptive to getting to know Jack. Once she gets to know Jack, she will see what Jack needs, what he desires, and what he fears. Then Jane will truly understand the emotions driving Jack. On the other hand, Jane also needs to recognize that she has confused connection with love. And most of all, she must ask herself whether the level of connection she gets from Jack is enough for her. If Jane feels a lack, she must deal with that lack. She must address it somehow. The amount of attention and emotions Jane seeks from Jack must be obtained from somewhere. Perhaps, if she is doing a really good job, she can get them from Jack, but only after she understands how Jack functions. But it's also possible that Jack's character will never meet that level of intensity, so Jane will need to supplement the energy she's missing from other sources. Jane will then have to decide whether to stay in a relationship with Jack, where she receives only this level of attention, or move on. Or if she decides to stay in the relationship with Jack, then she needs to decide how she will supplement the lack of attention she receives from him. Jane, if you find yourself in this situation, I advise you to engage in many activities that bring you joy. All the joy you experience from hobbies, achievements, friendships, and communities will provide you with vital energy and recharge you with energy. This way, you won't have to rely solely on Jack as your exclusive energy source. You'll become more balanced, and your relationship with Jack can reach a more harmonious equilibrium. So, Jane, your task isn't easy, but I believe it's worth the effort. It's worth opening your awareness to understand Jack's character and addressing your energy deficit to bring it into balance, and you supplement all the attention that you don't receive from him. If you like this video, share it with your friends and acquaintances. These self-awareness insights might help them as well. Subscribe to our channel for more videos and for more support to navigate through specific life situations. Thank you for your attention. Let me say goodbye now, wishing you much success, good health, abundance, love, a happy relationship, and everything else you wish for yourself.